In the world of heritage poultry breeding, many bloodlines gain recognition because of the dedication of breeders who spent years refining traits through careful selection and observation. One of the names that occasionally appears in poultry discussions is the Hennie Gamefowl bloodline. But what exactly is the Hennie line? Where did it originate? And how did it become known among certain breeder communities? In this educational video, we will explore the origin, historical background, breeder influence, development principles, and commonly discussed characteristics associated with the Hennie Gamefowl bloodline. This presentation aims to be transparent, respectful of poultry traditions, and focused on responsible breeding education. Understanding breeder name bloodlines. In poultry breeding history, it has long been common to name bloodlines after breeders who helped stabilize or popularize certain traits. These breeder-named lines serve as reference points that help enthusiasts understand selection approaches, structural preferences, regional breeding influence, generational consistency. The term henny is often understood in this context, referring to a breeder-associated lineage rather than a single fixed genetic formula. Historical context of bloodline development. Before modern documentation and online communication, poultry breeding knowledge was often shared through personal mentorship, farm visits, breeder gatherings, exhibitions, word-of-mouth tradition. Because of this, some bloodlines became known locally first before gaining wider recognition. The Hennie line is often discussed as one of those breeder-recognized strains that gradually became part of broader poultry conversations. Possible roots and early recognition. Accounts from poultry enthusiasts suggest that the Hennie line may have developed through selective breeding focused on practical flock qualities, including structural balance, alert but manageable temperament, growth, consistency, environmental adaptability. As birds displaying similar characteristics appeared across generations, the breeder's name became associated with the line. Recognition often grew organically as other breeders observed or worked with related stock. Selection philosophy behind the line. Breeding programs that produce recognizable bloodlines usually follow consistent selection principles. In discussions about the Hennie bloodline, enthusiasts often highlight themes such as preference for well-proportioned body structure, attention to feather condition and alignment, evaluation of vitality and responsiveness, observation of long-term breeding predictability. This kind of disciplined selection helps create more reliable outcomes over time. Commonly discussed physical characteristics. Although variation is natural in any poultry population, some breeders describe Hennie-type birds as showing balanced frame and upright stance, clean feather pattern presentation, attentive expression, active yet manageable movement, moderate to well-developed muscle tone. It is important to emphasize that no named bloodline guarantees identical results, especially when management practices differ. Influence of environment on trait expression. Environmental management plays a major role in how traits appear in each generation. Breeders working with structured lines often focus on proper nutrition programs, clean and well-ventilated housing, adequate space for movement, stress reduction strategies, climate adaptation planning. Even well-selected birds require consistent care to express their full potential. Role in crossbreeding and flock improvement. Like many heritage lines, birds associated with the Hennie lineage have sometimes been included in crossbreeding projects. Breeders may explore such crosses to combine desirable structural features, improve adaptability, enhance genetic diversity, strengthen overall flock vigor. However, structured planning and generational observation are essential to understand how traits interact. Record keeping and line identity. Maintaining a breeder name bloodline requires detailed documentation. Common record-keeping practices include tracking parental combinations, monitoring hatch results, comparing growth performance, noting temperament tendencies, documenting environmental conditions. These records help breeders evaluate whether their selection strategy is producing consistent improvements. Misconceptions about named bloodlines. One common misconception is that a named bloodline automatically represents superior performance or guaranteed uniformity. In reality, genetics involve variation. Environmental influence is significant. Breeder goals differ. Long-term selection is required. Understanding this helps poultry enthusiasts develop realistic expectations. Cultural importance of heritage lines. Breeder-recognized lines like Hennie often carry cultural value within poultry communities. They represent dedication to selective breeding, agricultural heritage, shared learning traditions, regional breeding identity. Studying these lines helps preserve valuable knowledge for future generations. Modern perspective on working with heritage bloodlines. Today, poultry enthusiasts may study or maintain heritage lines for several reasons. Educational breeding projects, genetic diversity preservation, structured flock improvement plans, appreciation of historical breeding methods. Modern approaches emphasize animal welfare, balanced feeding, and sustainable management practices alongside genetic considerations. Lessons for today's breeders. The story of breeder-named lines like Hennie offers practical lessons. Patience is essential in breeding. Consistent selection builds reliability. Documentation supports progress. Environmental management affects outcomes. Community learning accelerates improvement. These principles remain relevant regardless of the specific bloodline. Conclusion. The Hennie Gamefowl bloodline represents the influence of dedicated breeder selection, community knowledge sharing, and the evolving nature of poultry breeding traditions. Understanding its historical context encourages responsible decision-making and long-term planning in modern flock development. If you found this educational history helpful, like this video, subscribe for more transparent poultry breeding content. Share your thoughts or experiences with breeder-named bloodlines in the comments. Learning together strengthens the global poultry community.